A hearty welcome to all of you today. I hope you are keeping well and learning new things. I welcome you to the Android Study Jam on behalf of Developer Student Club Chandigarh University. We are so happy to have you here. I am Shans Jain, co-lead at DSCCU, and I'm super excited to kickstart this event with you with a great set of speakers. Before starting up, let me tell you more about Android Study Jam. So, what are Android Study Jams? Android Study Jams are study groups for people who want to learn and build Android apps using an online training course. So, where do we start learning? For you, we have two tracks, new to programming track and prior to experience track. So, let me help you decide which track do you need. For the new to programming track, you do not need any programming skills, you just need to have basic computer skills and math skills. But for the prior experience track, you need to have a prior programming experience in an object oriented programming language like Java, C++, or any other object oriented language. You also need to be familiar with how to use an IDE like VS Code or Sublime Text or any other which you prefer. It would be great if you also have idea about GitHub. So, what you will be learning in these tracks? In neutral programming tracks, you will be learning about Kotlin, how to create your first Android app, basic layouts, and how to add buttons to your app, and much more, like getting input from the user, how to create a scrollable list. While you learn, you will, as you complete each pathways, you will be earning badges. Like here we have 4 and 2 badges in the first track, which you will be able to share on your LinkedIn or Google's profile also. For the prior to programming experience track, we can be learning about how to build your first app and how to build an interactive app like many apps. You will be also be learning about layouts, navigation, activity fragment life cycles, architecture component and much more. Don't worry about the topics. You will be learning very thoroughly from the tracks, and as you complete each track, you will be earning the badges. Like here we have a total of 10 badges, which we will be able to share on your LinkedIn profile and developer profile. So as you complete tracks, you will be also be getting the certificate after you complete both the tracks. So don't forget to register for the event. You can register for this event from the link here, or you can scan this QR tag, QR code. So do register. While you register yourself, we have a two great set of speakers. Abhishek Yadav, who is a tech expert at DSCCU, and Prithi Bhatya, who is a core team member at DSCCU. So over to you, Abhishek.
So yeah, thanks Shriyansh. So hi guys, I'm Abhishek Yadav. I'm a third year student in Chandigarh University. So I have been developing Android apps from the past 1 year, and I have developed some amazing projects for my college work. And if you have any query after the session, you can contact me at Twitter at the rate underscore abhi.tom and on LinkedIn as Abhishek Yadav EPS. So let's start with the basic of Kotlin. So this is my first project, and if you carry on with this track, you can also make such projects, and I'm here to help you in boosting your career in Android development. Yeah. So the objectives that we are going to learn are like you learn about the Kotlin programming language. You can develop a variety of Android apps, and we will also teach you the best practices for Android development, as well as we will also share some resources so that you can continue your learning. So the prerequisites are programming experience in any OOPS language like Java or C++. You should have installed Android Studio as well as Java SC Development Kit 13. Yeah. So today's schedule is first the Kotlin basics, then how to use Android Studio, and then how to use layouts and views. Yeah. So first, what is Kotlin? Any one of you ever used Kotlin before? You can write in your chats. So if you haven't used Kotlin before, so it's similar to C++ or Java. So Kotlin is a cross-platform language developed by JetBrains, and it's free, and its source code is available on GitHub. Yeah. So let's start with the coding. So our first code is this. So what do you think about this code? What's the output? You can write the answer in chats, in comments. So if you have guessed this, hello world, so you are right. So it's similar to C++. You can see that. And the second is print 4 plus n. So in the previous, we have printed an statement. Now we are going to print an integer. So the output for this code is 9. So next is, yeah. So let's start with the Kotlin. So there are two type of variables in Kotlin, uh, mutable and immutable. So the mutable variables can be changed after initialization. Like over here, if we have declared counter as 5, we can change it to 6 or 10 or anything else after first initialization. But the immutable variables cannot be changed. Like if we have initialized this name by Rebecca, we cannot change this now. So the syntax for a mutable variable is var, then the variable name, then a colon, then its type. So over here it's an integer type and equals to the value. For immutable variables, it's val name colon the type, like over here it's string, equals to its value. Like over here we have given Rebecca. Yeah. So over here we can also print statement plus variables in a single inverted comma. So over here we have taken a equal to 4 and then printing value of a equals to the mark and a. So this symbol indicates that the next is a variable and not a statement. So as a result, we can see value of a is equals to 4. So next is functions. So first, let's do some coding. Yeah. So this is an online compiler. It's available to everyone. It's called Kotlin Playground. So let's start with the print statement. So print ln first code. So if we run this, yeah, so it's written first code. Now if we write another print statement, so it's like second code. So if we run this, we are seeing first code and second code. Yeah. So over here, it's going to the next line automatically. So if we remove this ln, and over here also, now if we run this code, it's not shifting to the next line automatically. So if you want an extra like next line, so you can add ln over here. So it will shift to the next line automatically. The print statements. Now we will go for functions. And yeah, and also if the variables, so var a equals to 4 as well as val b equals to 3. So if we print ln a, and now we a equals to like 7, and then we again print ln a. So over here, when we run this program, yeah, the first value of a is 4, then we change it to 7, and then it's printed 7. But if we do the same for b, as b is a immutable variable, so if we change it to b, we're going to definitely get a error, and the error is val cannot be reassigned. So yeah, you cannot reassign a val value, but you can reassign a var value. So the next is let's start with the next. So next is functions. So function is a block of code which you can write separately so that you can use it again and again without writing it in your code. So Yeah, so this is our first function. So the syntax for this is fun space the name of a function. Then in the brackets you will give the parameters. Parameter is something that you pass whenever you call a function. So over here we are passing a, which is an int type, and b, which is an int type, and colon, and then you will give the return type. That what are you going to return when the function ends. So and in the code we are returning a plus b. So the next is we can also build functions without parameter and without return type. So for here we have written fun space display. The parameter list is empty. We have not given any return type, so we cannot return anything. And then print welcome. So if we do this on our compiler, yeah. So I hope you can see this. So let's make a function. Function. It be sum, and we are giving it a, which is int type, and we are going also giving it b, which is also int type. We are going to return an int value. So we can also like c is equals to a plus b, and we can return c. So if over here, if we call this function, so print ln sum of 4 comma 5. So if we run this code now, so we are getting 9. But we can also, like in Kotlin, we can also do, so we do not need to require to write all this, and we can directly over here write a plus b. So we do not require to save this value in another variable. We can directly return a plus b. So it's also returning is 9. So this is about the functions. Now the next part is the conditional statements. So conditional statements are something like अगर ये है तो ये होना चाहिए, ये है तो ये होना चाहिए. So if score is more than 20, then print low. Else if score is more than 70, then medium. Else print in high. And for the when statement, x is a conditional variable. So when x is equal to 0, we will print 0. If it's equal to 1, you will print 1. If it's equal to 2, you will print 2. So yeah, so let's try this. So let's take var x equals to 3, and if x is equal 1, then print ln 1, and else if x is equal 3, print ln 3 is print ln unknown. So if we run this code now, so you can see it's printing us 3 as x is equal to 3. So if we change it to 2, it's giving us unknown. So these are the conditional statements in Kotlin. It's similar to C++. Yeah. So the next is for loops. So yeah. So for loops, its syntax is for. In the brackets, we will give the variable, and then in it's, and this is called a range. So 1 dot dot 5 is a range from 1 to 5. And we are printing every value of I after every iteration. The next, we are while loop, we are taking a variable named a equal to 1, value b equal to 5, and while a is more than b, जब तक a छोटा है b से, we are printing a and increasing it in every iteration. So let's try this. Yeah. So over here, if we write for I in 1 dot dot 5, print ln I. So when we run this code, we are getting all the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we change this range like from 3 to 5, so we will get 3 to 5. And if we can change this to 8, then we will get 3 to 8. Yeah, so we can get 3 to 8. So our next is yeah. Let's go to the next topic. Is the collections. So collections over here are buckets, data buckets. So list is similar to array, but the only difference is it's immutable. You cannot change the value after you initialize it. Set is also kind of a list, but the only difference is that it sort the value automatically. In map, we can map a key to a value. So we are going to use all these in our further classes. And yeah, so the next is classes. Yeah, this is the important part. So if you have used C++ or Java before, you should know about classes. So classes is nothing but it's defined property of objects. So like over here, we are taking a class named Polygon. So it's a class Polygon which is defining the properties of any polygon. So this sites int is a primary constructor. Like this denotes that sites of integer type is uh, compulsory to be have before creating any class. So this class always need a variable named sites of integer type. So next is two properties of the polygon. So the first is number of sides. The second is side length. So over here, number of side defines the number of sides of the polygon, and side length defines the length of each side. So as we have already have the value of sides, we are initializing the number of sides equals to sides. So how to make an object of this class? So over here we have taken like for example we are taking a square. So we have taken the name as square equals to polygon. So a square has 4 sides. So we are giving it 4. Then square dot side length, we are giving it any arbitrary number. So we are giving 2, and then we can print the value like square and number of sides and side length. Okay, so let's try this class. So this class is understanding the class is very important. So keep a track of this. So yeah, so let's start with the class. For example, we are going to take a class named dog, primary constructor. So we can take it like a dog name of type string, and we can take dog breed of type string. Yeah. So the properties of this is like we can have a property named name of type string. We can have a property breed of type string. We can also have a property like color of declaring its object, that's dog name and dog breed. And the 3 properties of this class are name, breed, and color. Yeah, so as we already have the dog name and dog breed, so we can directly initialize it over here. So dog name and dog breed. So we do not have any value for color. So by default, we are giving its value like white. By default, it's always in white. To let's make our first object. So let's the object be Dustin. So we are taking a dog. Its name is Dustin. So we are giving it like Dustin equals to its object of class dog. So dog. The first parameter is dog name. So dog name is obviously Dustin. Its breed. So its breed is German Shepherd. Yeah. German Shepherd. So Dustin, so the dog class defines the properties of all the dogs, while Dustin over here defines only property of a dog whose name is Dustin and whose breed is German Shepherd. So let's change it color. So Dustin dot color equals to black. So now Dustin has a color black. So we can print all this information now with like Dustin dot name and paste. So it's read and it's color. So if we run this, uh, answer reference. Shit. Class. Yeah, so it's giving us Dustin, German Shepherd, and black. Okay, so this is all. The next is inheritance. So inheritance is something like we already have a class and we want to use its properties as well as we also want to add some new properties to it. So we are using a pre-existing class with a new class. So yeah, let's make a new class. Let the name be wilddocs. Wilddocs. Yeah, and its parameter will be also same. So dog name of type string, and we are also taking dog breed of type string. Yeah, so over here we are already now we are going to inherit the previous class. So to inherit, the syntax is colon and then we write the name like dog we want to inherit, then the parameters. So it's dog name comma dog breed. Yeah, so if we run this function now, yeah, so you can see there is an error. It's show this type is final, so it cannot be inherited. So over here, it's mean that the dog class is final, so you cannot inherit it. So if you want to inherit any class, you need to specify on that class that it's open and it's not final. So now if we run this code, it will work. So after inheriting, we already have all these value in the wild dog class. So what's new? So let's make a function. So function bark. So in this function, the dog is going to bark. So it will return bow, bow. So and its return type is already string. Yeah. So we created a function bark whose return type is string, and whenever it's called, it will return a string bow. So let's make a new object for the class. So var name of the new dog. So maybe it's Rocky. Okay, so Rocky is a object of wild dog class. Its name is obviously Rocky, and its breed may be boxer. Yeah. So now let's color be default white, and if we print all this value again over here for Rocky. Yeah. So you can see over here the Rocky of wild dog class is also showing the same name, breed, and color which are inherited from the previous class. But the new function which we are going to show is the bark function. So if we call over here like Rocky dot bark, if we run this code now, it shows us like it's also barking. So if we do the same to like the previous class, so Dustin dot bark, so it's giving us a error that bark is not a part of dog class, but it's a part of wild dogs class. So this means that dog is the first class, and we are inheriting the wild dogs from the dog class. So all the property of the dog are already in with the vanilla docs, but we can also add some other properties which may not be in the doc class. So yeah, this finishes our the basic Kotlin. This finishes our the basic Kotlin class for today. So thank you guys, and now I will hand it over to Shreyansh.
Okay, I was muted. So, do the people who have not registered for the event, you can register here right now. And while you register, let us welcome Abhishek Yadav again, who will be telling you more about Android Studio. So, Abhishek, to you.
Yeah. So guys, let's start. So when you click on new project in the Android Studio, you will get all these activities. These are pre-made activities, and like basic activity, bottom navigation activity, map activity. So these all are pre-made by the Android to help you guys. So for now, we will going to start with an empty activity. So when we click on next, it will ask us for name of your project. The second is your package name. The third is your save location. The fourth is your language, and the fifth is your minimum SDK. So I will explain every one of them. So let the name of the project be app one. The package name is something which you want to like over here. I have written my name Abhitom. If you are in some kind of working for some kind of company, so you will written the company name over here, and it will like start from that, like com dot company name dot app name dot this module that module. So it will go like this. The save location is somewhere where you want to save your project, so you can click on browse and save your project anywhere. The language, Kotlin Android development is available in two languages, Java and Kotlin. So for now, we are going for Kotlin language. Okay. So minimum SDK, it's yeah, it's like we are choosing the minimum Android version that the app will support. So you can choose Jelly Beans and all the versions over here. It depends on which version you are choosing. So you need to make the app according to them. So like in Jelly Bean, there are many functions and many activities that are not possible in Jelly Bean. So you cannot do those activities in Jelly Bean app. So for now, we are going for Marshmallow. So it's showing that your app will run on approximately 84.9% of devices. So this means that all over the world, 84.9% of devices use Marshmallow or above Android version. So if we choose like Lollipop, it will showing us 92.3%. But like there are some security updates and some permissions update that are only available in Marshmallow and above version. So we are currently for now we are choosing Marshmallow, as 84% of devices are enough for us. So when we click on finish, it will greet us with a yeah, this type of screen. So guys, yeah, so there are two parts of this project. First, there is a something like a Gradle and configure projects. This is building. So they are building this project right now. So let it build for some time. Yeah, so it's built now. So whenever you start a new project, you will automatically get two one activity. So here is the code part of the activity. It's called main activity.kt, and here's the design part of the activity. So here you will design your activity, your app, and over here you will code your app. So over this panel over here in the left side, this will show all your packages and everything. So like, let me show you everything. So when we go on app, there are three panels: manifest, Java, and resource. In the manifest, we keep all a manifest of our app. The manifest declares the permissions, all the activities that are used by our app, all the permissions that are going to use by our app, our logo, our first launcher activity. All this is written in manifest. The second is Java. This folder contains all the code of our app. The third is resource. Resource contain all the pictures, all the videos, all the layouts, all the design of our app. So first let's see, take a look at Android manifest. So yeah, so over here this manifest, so this is showing us that allow backup. So this is app is allowed backup, its icon, its label, and you can change the label to change the app name. So the round icon, you can also change it icon. Like for current default icon, this is the our default icon, and it's showing there is one activity name main activity, and then it's action that it's a launcher activity. So this is the manifest, guys. For so in this, yeah, and this is our code file. Over here we code everything which we want in our app. And when we go on the resource, there is drawable, layout, map, and values. So over drawables, we keep all the icons. So like by default, this and this are given by default. So this is our app icon. In the layouts, we keep the layout file of the activity. So like for currently, it's the default layout. It's an empty layout written hello world in the middle. In the values, there are three things: colors, strings, and themes. So in colors, you write all the color code. You save these color codes. Like after writing purple 200, this color code will automatically go at that place. In the strings, you save the string. Like for currently, you are saving app name is app1. In the themes folder, you save the theme. Like for by default, it's like it's a day theme and it's a night theme. It's by default, and you can change these themes. Yeah. So guys, this is all for this panel. The next thing is emulator. So if you want an emulator in your Android Studio, you can go over this option on the right side, and over here it's an option AVD manager. So on clicking on that, you can you get an empty list in when you begin. So create on click a virtual device, and you can choose whichever device you want from all these lists. So it's contain mostly all the popular devices from Google, and yeah, and from Samsung. So this is the emulator part, and like if I run the current app in an emulator, so like it's opening now. Yeah, so this is an emulator. It's a virtual Android device where you can test your app. So our current app is installing in it. So yeah, guys, this is our current app. It's app1, and the only thing over here is hello world written in the middle. So the last thing is Gradle Scripts. So Gradle Scripts are all the files where all the main main Android part is written. So the main two files over here are these two files. In the module Gradle build, we write all the dependencies that we are going to need. So if we want to use any third-party library or any other libraries which are not by default in our Android app, so we need to write a dependency. It's a line which showcase that we are using this, and you need to download all these files from the internet. And in the project Gradle build, you will write all the class paths and all the repo that are you are going to use, and also your Kotlin version that you are going to use, and all this stuff. So yeah, guys, this is all about Android Studio. And so the next part is layouts, and it will be covered by Preeti. So all these whichever app we will work, we will give you a link of GitHub, and you can download the work from there if you want any reference. So now I will hand it over to Shreyansh.
Okay, so that was a great session by Abhishek. I got to learn much things about Android Studio. So before starting up, let's take a small break and let's take this opportunity to more about the event. When you register for the event, you will be getting two tracks here, new to programming track and prior to experience tracks. You can start this course and you will be having code labs, videos and much more to explore. You can learn a lot by completing these tracks and you will also be getting some certificates. So while we wait, register for this event and don't forget to tell us how it and what session you want to take, want to see next. Okay, so while you register, let me call the next speaker of the session, Prithi Bhatya, who is a core team member at DSCCU. So Prithi, over to you.
Yeah, really sorry guys for that. Okay, so let me start again. My name is Prithi Bhatya and I am a core team member of Developer Students Club in Chandigarh University. It's been 1.5 years that I'm doing development and also I'm an enthusiastic competitive coder. So in the first session, we have covered the basics of Kotlin, the functions, what are inheritance and how does it all works. So now we're going to jump into layouts and how to start that. First is UI. What is UI? We all know the full form of it, what it stands for, user interface. So whatever you see on the screen of an app, be it a text, images, all it consists of UI, okay, layouts. So UI basically it comprises of views, and as I told earlier, the text, views, and images it known as views. So whatever we see, like each of the elements is known as views. Okay, now a layout defines the structure of for user interface of an app, such as an activity, and all the elements form an hierarchy of view and view groups. And a view usually draws something the user can interact with. The user, can make whatever it wants to do it. So now, just like we have different types of layouts, we have two types, relative, linear. We have more, but in this session, we're going to cover only two. Those are relative and linear layouts. So relative, as the name says, relative layouts, it's a view group that displaces child views in relative position. And just like according to the parent, we are going to relate its child to it. And next, we have linear layout. Linear layout, like we are going to assign it horizontally or direct vertically as the parent lining to it. Okay, now those were really basics about layouts. And now, as I told you, the view and view groups are really important, and if you want to be a developer, you should know all this vocabularies of Android. Okay, now types of views. Text, there are many types of views, but here we are going to cover just the basics ones: the text view, edit text, image buttons. Now while I'm going to show you the app, while we are going to create an app, I'm going to let you know how to work with all this: text view, edit text, image buttons. Okay, now, and also we are going to cover in this section activities. What are activities, how to we can switch from one activity to another, and with the help of methods. Like I'm sure you must be familiar, you all must be doing coding, and you all know how does the coding start. It starts from the main method. But here in Android, the first method that starts like from activity, which will be on create. Like here's the cycle you can see here. The activity, how does it launch? Like in coding simple in C language, it starts from the main method, but in Android it starts from on create. Then when it's on an on start, it's going to go to on state page, and then while the state is on resume, it's going to resume. So okay, all these different methods: on create, on start, on destroy, we're going to see it with the help of an example. So for that, okay, let me show you my Android screen. So just wait. Okay, and yeah, here it is. So yeah, as my friend Abhishek told you about the basics of what are palettes, and how what does a project file contain, and the designs and all, and the attributes we have. So I'm not going to take you there. Like straight away, we are going to create a basic layout, a very simple layout. You know that even a kid, even a kid can create. Yeah, I'll say that it will be really basic, like for the who are new vibes, they can get easily to know how does it work. Okay, so now this palette session, as I told you, like views, we have a lot of, like we have text view, plain text, password. We are going to create each one by one. And buttons also, like, but under buttons we have images, image button, and radio box switches. All you must have learned all these things in C language and even in C++. So okay, so let's not waste most of the time. Okay, let's just create. Yeah, so I'm going to create a simple layout. So you just watch me do. So I have created one text view. You're going to take text view and see here on the component tree side, you see this thing. This is a warning. Okay, and what does it say? We have to, as I told you, the layouts in constraints layouts, it whenever you're going to pick any view and going to use the drop down, you're going to see a warning. Why? Because this view is not constrained. We have to constrain it. Why? Because on the runtime it's going to jump at the beginning, so you have to give constraints to it. So how are you going to do? So okay, now, so the giving constraints is really easy. And yeah, you can give constraints like according to your wish. The one who loves to coding, they can give constraints here as well. See, I have created one text view. Yeah, this is the main file. I have created one text view, and side by side, a little more easy. Yeah, see, I have created a one text view, and on the side by side XML file, whatever differences you are going to make in your layout, the side by side effects we're going to have on your XML file. As I've created one text, you see the layout with, it says the text that is written is text view, and how, and see how I'm going to constrain it. So whatever changes, basically whatever changes you're going to make in your layout section, the same impacts we're going to have on the XML file. So yeah, so I have created one text view. Let me take one plain text as well for taking the user input, and see, again we can see there is a warning sign. So here again we are going to constrain it to the right and to the left. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, one more. Align that too. here. And yeah, here. And let's take one button, a simple one. And even if you want to use, like, you can have experiments with all this. You can try it, just like at the beginning when we used to learn HTML, we used to experiment with all the fonts, with all the sizes. Here as well, you can experiment with all those things. So again, you see a warning. Why? Because it's not constrained, so we have to constrain it. Sometimes it really gets irritating, because you try to constrain it and it doesn't happen. So as I told, the one who loves coding instead of the one who doesn't like drag and drop it, and they can do from here, this coding section as well. Yeah, see, I have created one text view and one edit text, and see all the changes I made in XML file as well. My first text view and my edit text and a button. See all changes I made it here side by side. So okay. Yeah, this one. Okay, let's assign it to it. Yeah, and just give. Okay, so now it looks really simple. It's not that much attractive, but for a beginner, it will be like a really good thing that yeah, I've created something. Even it's simple, but it's going to give you a feel that okay, I have worked with the layout. I have tried it. So yeah, for that now, let me take you to the brief section here. Just like in HTML, we have seen how to change the style, how to change the sizes, how to change the fonts. In the same way, we can do here in Android as well. So here, see, the text it's written over there, I don't think it will be visible to you. Just, yeah, this text view, you can even change the text. Like we're going to create a simple layout. So, yeah, you can write it as what? Hello, people. Just for the namesake. Okay, and enter. And see, it's written here. Hello, people. Now, if you want to change the size of it and if you want to give padding, you can give it from here. Go for 8. Type also 8. And yeah, it's not constrained. So now, if you want to change the size because it's not that visible to us, click it here again, and you can even change the size, change the font, appearance you want, and take text size. Okay, let's go for 24. Yeah, I think it's pretty visible now. Yeah, let's make it more darker. And yeah, here on the component tree, don't worry about this. Like these are not warning signs. Like they are not errors or something. Okay, the hard-coded strings, don't worry about that. I'm going to tell you at the end what are this. Like for that, for now, just ignore that and focus on the layout part. Okay, now as I've changed it to 24 SP, yeah, now let me make it more darker. Here, the text color. See, why people love like work in Android? Why they love to work in Android? Because it's like it makes their work very easily. If you know how the functions works, if you know how to align it, even the coding part will become really interesting because like it's for just for the namesake the coding part, but you don't have to because if even if like if you type simple, like if you want to create a layout, let me show you. Yeah, suppose you are giving a layout to you are giving a okay, like you are giving providing a background to the button. So simply write B and see all the elements related to the background is going to appear here, and just click on that, and whatever like button for the background you want to give, you can apply here. So yeah, it's really easy. Like you don't have to type all through it. Just click on the type a letter, and whatever elements related to that, the Android will going to show you. Okay, let's go to the design part again. Yeah, this layout. So I was background was dark. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit darker. How? by changing the size of the text color. And how does it look? Okay. Text color. And text size is that. So this is the way, and this text field, this thing will going to take the user input. So just change it here as well. Here it says names, as we are going to create a simple login page, a very simple, a very basic one. So how, like, what all the login pages ask you to do? They ask you to enter your name, enter your name, and yeah, you can see it's written here, enter your name. Okay, and now same with this, you can change the size of it, you can change the font, anything you want. Like, it's fun sometimes, like at the beginner it's really, fun to like have fun, have an experiment with all those things. Okay, and this is a button. Let's create one more text field for entering the password here. Yeah, and see, you see a warning sign. Why? Because it's not constrained. So we're going to constrain the right to the left, and yeah, just a minute. Okay. Now just shift it here. Yeah, cool. Now you want to change this thing. We're going to take the user input text password, and here you can even provide hint, like what type of, like, you can provide a hint to the user, like this field is for entering the password, like contains that. Okay, now, okay, hello people, this thing, let me take one more text view so that it will tell the user that you have to enter your password here, and just constrain it. Yeah, and I know it. Okay, one more. Okay, I see one more. Okay, it's not aligned there. Here, okay, it jumps to the left. See, that's what it happens, like constraints. Like if you're going to jump it, if you find this thing like a cumbersome task to do, you can simply go here and you can code all through this, like the same thing that I'm doing on the layout section, on the design section, the same thing you can do through code as well. Okay. Yeah, let me bring it down here. Yeah, cool. So here we're going to ask the user to enter your password. Enter your password. And yep, I can see a change. Now just let me change the size of it so that it's much more visible to you. Yeah. And let's make it a bit darker. I guess it is. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Now, before we are going to run this, let me explain you what these signs are, what hard-coded strings are. So see, hard-coded strings, like as I told you, this thing, hello people, basically it says like, as we all know, like machine requires, machine always converts, a program always converts a language in its own term, right? So similarly with XML, like XML finds it harder to like use simply this thing, hello people. So for it convenient, it uses it's in own terms. So for that we get this hard code warning, and it says that this string hello people, it's not used as at the rate string source. If we are going to use at the rate string resource, it will going to make much more easier for our XML to convert our project in its own language. So for that, how we are going to fix this? Simply fix it, and I'll tell you what the changes you are going to see after creating this. And yeah, okay, let me take you to the code section. My first edit text, and they were hello people. Yeah, see this line number 15. I have typed only hello people, but hardcoded string, what does it do is that it's going to create this hello people in its for its own convenient. It's going to use at the rate string, and in hello people it's going to use an underscore, so that it becomes more easier for XML to convert a program in its own terms, so that it will become much more easier for our app to run. So that's the warnings we get, and that much you don't have to worry about it. Just on a click you can make it go away. Similarly for the others, the same thing. Fix it, and yeah, we're going to do with this with the all hard coded strings. Fix button. Yeah, fix. Okay, fix. Enter your password. It's going to bring underscores, and at the beginning it will going to create at the rate strings. Yeah, okay. So now in the first session, my friend Abhishek have told you, have given a brief introduction of emulator. So I'm sure now you're aware of it, what is an emulator and how we're going to run our app. So let me, yeah. So let me just try to run it and see if we see any error or whether our first layout works in it. Yeah, so see it's running. And yeah, see you can see the first layout that you have created. My project name was happy learning, and it gives you a see. Okay, enter your name. I'll enter. Okay, I hope. Oh, away. Yeah. For enter your password, I guess I haven't created it. So you can see this is the basic layout. Like for in every login page we see, it asks for enter your name, enter your password, and this is the button. For like while you click on the button, it will going to take you in the next activity, and in that next activity, that means it's going to take you on the next page what doesn't comes. And yeah, at the earlier session I have told you about Android XMLs and what our activities are, and you know how to create a toast button and all. So just let me create it. Okay, I can see warnings. And what are this? Missing a slim label, provide a view within Android label. Okay. It says names, enter your password. Text. Yeah, and this ID thing, it's really important because by this thing only you're going to launch, or you're going to fires on this like this ID text you. This text you through this ID only. Like basically, as we know, in those who use Java language, we like Java, it's an object-oriented language, and it works all through objects. Just like this ID works as an object. With the help of this, we're going to make a text view and makes our text view accessible to it. So there was a text view. Just write it. There was a text view TV2 refactor. That means you're going to apply the change to it. How? Okay. And text color, it will be empty. Just change the size and font. Yeah. And now, yeah, as I told you about the activities, see, this is the main activity file. Okay. And how does it work? Like when we are, if you want to know if you wanna have an experiment this, if you wanna know we are on which state and how does it works and how does the activity life cycle undergoes, you can use this. You can use this functions on start, on restart, on pause, resume, and destroy. And let me show you how does it works, how does it runs. That was strings xms. Okay, that was for the hard-coded strings. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it. Let me run it and let me show you how my, okay, it's running. Okay, found items, enter your name more than one time. So let's solve errors. It's not that big that we have to worry about. Enter your name and okay, this one. 24dp, edit text, person's name, ID. Just let me just change it to okay, ed name, refactor because I want my changes to be applied. I just wanted to keep them in blank. Okay. Cool. Enter password works. Enter name works. Here. Edit text passwords. And yeah, for the hint, let's provide hint. Password. Here. Right. This hint thing, this is going to provide a user hint that you have to enter your password here. Okay. So let me try to run it. Okay, it's going to shows as here. That means we haven't been okay. Strings.xml, we have enter your name, enter your password. Okay, here's the mistake because it's 2 times. So let's delete it. Yep, I think now it should work. It's running. Okay, successful operations. Okay, now let's just wait for the emulator to appear. Hang it still. Silent. And yeah, it doesn't look good. Why? Because, okay, I know why. This, because it's merged, because it's not constrained properly. That's the thing. Okay, this one it is. Just merge it with, no. Yeah, okay, let me go back. See, I have told you about this cycles buttons. You can see on pause, on destroy. If you're going to see, okay, I don't want, wait, just wait for now. Bring back. Yeah, as I told you in activity life cycle, we are going to see when like when an app is on start, how does it works on start. When it's on a on start states, it will going to show you on start and a toast. Toast, it's basically like a pop-up message that is going to appear in front of you for only for few seconds. Like toast, it will show you in my toast, it's going to show you that it's start, and then it's going to show like basically this topic, it comprises under activity life cycle, and it's really interesting, it's really fun to do. Show you again. Oh, created it. Saving state. Okay, wait. we're going. This time you have to be patient with it. Okay. Yeah, here are you. Okay. It's merge. See, it's about missing accessibility label. If your V is label but value in different layout, then include this one. Disappointing. Okay. See, it's not merged with this. It's not merged with this. So see, the changes that you have made here, like I'm into coding, so basically I don't use that drop and downs. I'm like, I just do this. Whatever changes that I have to make, I do it from here. Like text view, as I told you, we have give it in a constraints, like the width will be to the wrap content, and the layout, the margins, how it will be, the text color that I want, the text size that I want, and how does edit text that you want. Yeah, all these things, text views and all. Yeah, okay. So okay, just let me show you in the tracks how you're going to make an app, and how you're going to make a simple layout, the tracks that you're going to cover, and it's really easy. Like it won't even take your much of time. Like within 2 or 3 hours you're going to complete one track, I think. Yeah. So here, this thing, like designing the first layout for building a basic layout will be designing a birthday card. Like if you're going to create, if you're going to just, okay, let me start, let me just take you through this because it's really easy. Like my friend in the first session have told you about how to create your project, how to give a name, like project name will be here, and yeah, the save location, it's really important, because if you're going to ignore it later on when you need your project, it will become really cumbersome to find, because you don't know where is the exact location of your project it. So be careful with while saving the project in any location. Like remember that, and the language that you're going to use, Kotlin, Java, and about this minimum SDK range that you want for your project. And yeah, so in this first basic track, you're going to create a simple birthday app with the help of using text views and fields, and how the user interfaces will be look like. This part you have already known. Yeah, the simple birthday app, how we're going to make it more attractive, it's there on the next session. Like basic, these tracks are really easy. Like it's going to start from the very basic. We're going to jump, it won't jump you to the direct creating, like directly deep dive into activities. First it's going to take you to the layouts, like one step by step you're going to cover all these things. So see how this says how to constrain it, how to give a all the margins to it, how to constrain it, and how to use text views, if you're going to show you. And yeah, the padding size and all. And if you want to use image, you can even do that. Yeah, and this. And at the end, just let me show you something. Okay. Oh, pens. Pen images. How? Here it is. And yeah, after every track, you're going to have quizzes. It contains only 5 or 6 questions that you require to fill it correct. And if you're done with that, you're good to go on to the next track. So here, this tracks contains everything, how to you can add an image to it, how you can add a background to it, how you can make your image view look good, more attractive. So this is things how you're going to do, and even there are advices for the coders how to for good coding practices. Instead of simply dragging and dropping, the one who really want to code and the one who really loves to typing like me, they can do through this coding pass, and the coding advices are really good. See, like the first app will be your this thing, a simple birthday card with they have just used a text view, image, and a background color, and nothing else. They have just created it, and this is how your first layout will going to look like. So yeah, that's it for the session. And if you have any query or any doubt, you can ask me on LinkedIn or my Twitter account. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a wonderful session by Preeti. So now let's take a deep dive into the topics. And Abhishek, over to you now.
So hi guys, me again. So we have three sessions in this track. The first is today the basics. The second is tomorrow, and we will cover all the topics that we are going to need in the basic track. And the third day we are going to make an app. So I will like to show you the app which we are going to make on 17th. So yeah. Uh, I guess you can see my screen. Someone can write me in the chats if you can see the screen clearly. So I guess you can see the screen. So over here, you can see the app. It shows all the users of the GitHub. Okay, and you can even search for anyone you want over here. Like over here, if I search my name, you can see I'm my name and my photo. And if I click, you can also see the details like my name. I am an Android developer, India, and this is my login, my followers, and am I hireable or not. So this is the app we are going to make on 17th. So in this app, we used networking and many other things. Yeah. So let's start with the basic topics that we are going to need in this. So as Preeti has covered all the layout parts, basic layout parts. So let's go for deep dive in the topics. So first, let me explain what is view binding. So over here you can see, yeah. So there are two things in an activity. So activity comprises of two things. First is its XML, and the second is its code. So this both together is called an activity. So if you so to like if you have made some layouts over here like this and this, and you are given them some ID, and you want to use those layouts in your code, so you need to bind this layout to this. And to do this, it's fairly simple, and it's almost same for every time. Just you need to add some lines to it. So you need to bind this XML code to your Kotlin code. So to do this, yeah. So or at the start of an activity, we write private. We are making a private variable late in it. Late in it over here means that we are going to initialize it later. We are not initializing it now. We are going to initialize this variable later. So the name, give it binding, and the type. So to bind main activity to its main activity XML, we need to open the XML. So here's the XML. So the name of this XML is activity main. So when you write over here activity, there's one more thing that you need to turn on. So for view binding, you need to add a command over here that says that view binding is enabled in this. So to do this, you just need to do it this one in every project, not in every activity. You need to do this once in every project. So over here, you just write build features, and then over here write view binding, and give it as 2. So that's all. Then you click on sync now to sync your properties with the app. Yeah, so that's it. So now if you write over here, so the XML name is activity main. So if you write activity main, so you can see there is a file activity main binding. So this file is used to bind the activity XML file to this Kotlin file. So you give the type to this. Then the next thing is you can delete this line, the pre-default line, and over here you will write binding. You are initializing the variable now. So yeah, so you will write binding equals to activity in binding dot inflate. In the inflate section, you will write layout manage inflator. Then you need to create another variable named view, and it will be equals to binding dot root, and then you use the previous command set content view to view. So these lines are fairly common in your every activity. You need to add these lines before starting any activity. So yeah, so that's for view binding now. And let me know if you understand this or you have any doubt in this. So next is the good practices that we use in Android. So first, camel casing. Camel casing is very important. So for camel casing, the name of class, any interface, or any other code activity, you will write like capital. Like over here, it's main activity. So main activity. You do not give the space. You just write the first as capital and the next word, first character is capital. And if you are declaring any variable, like for variable, let it be number of sites. So val, in variable, the first letter is always small, number. Then every letter, every next word, first character is capital. So number of sites. So this is the way we declare variable. So keep this in mind. Camel casing is very important. The second is how to make layout and what are the good practices. So if I delete this, and let's first make an uh, empty layout. So with a text and with a button. So if we drag a text view over here, we need to give it constraints. So just for now, we are giving it according to our default view constraint layout, and we are taking this to down like this. And for size, you can go over here, text size, and just increase it to like 36. So this is what we want. So yeah, so now if we want to change the text, so let it be my first app. Yeah, so this is a text view. The next thing is to change the ID. So naming ID. So what you can use your own way to write the IDs of the text view. For me, how I write is, like for text view, I will write TV text view, then the activity name, two capital names like main activity. So I will write MA, so that I know that it's from main activity. The next I will write what it's for. So it's a title. So I will write title. So this is how I give the ID of text view, and then we make enter and then refactor. So this is the way I give the ID to this. The second is, let's take a button. Yeah. So let's constrain it. First, the horizontal constraint. Let's constrain it to the screen. Then next, now, how to when we need to constrain this to my text and when to constrain this to my screen. So as we know that over on the upper side we have a text over here. So if we constrain this to a screen and this also to a screen, yeah. So now this button doesn't know where the text is. So there may be some conditions where this button can overlap the text. So uh, to get the button know that where the text is, so what we do is we constrain the upper of this button to the lower of this text view. So now the button will know that the text view is at some distance from this. So we can also give like the minimum distance that the button can be with the text view. So over here, if we give like 16, so this text view cannot go near 16, like beyond 16 to this text view. So there is always some space between the button and text view, irrespective of the screen size. So if even if you have a small screen or you have a big screen of a mobile, it doesn't matter. It will always separated with a 16 DP difference. So 16 DP is pixels. So 16 pixels difference. And so yeah. So let's customize this button. So text, it's maybe next. Need to go on the next activity. For ID, we are also using btn. So it's main activity. So main activity, and then what it's for? It's for going next. So next. We refactor this. Yeah. So this is our first activity that we have made. Now, how to make this button in use? So I guess my code is visible to you. So let's write some code now. Okay. So first thing first, we want to make a listener for this button. Listener is nothing. It's just a function. So whenever you click on the button, the function will call automatically. So that's what we call a click listener. It's there also long click listeners, swipe listeners. There are many things. So currently we are going to use click listeners. So to use a click listener, first we will give the name of the button that we want to use the click listener on. So first we give like binding. Binding means that we are taking the button from the layout part. Dot which button? So btn ma next. We are taking this button. Dot what we want to add to this. So we want to add a click listener. So the syntax is set on click listener. So there are two type of click listeners. So currently the easiest way to use is so this with a curly bracket. So if you use this, click on this, so it will write this, and when you click on enter, yeah. So we have successfully introduced a click listener to this button. So whenever we click on that button, this click listener will automatically get activated. So as I guess Preeti have already told you about toast. So toast is nothing, just a text that appear over on the screen for a little time. So let's make a toast whenever the button is clicked. So toast dot make text. Context is something like it's want like on which part you want to like what is the activity where you want to show this toast. So this doesn't happen that your one activity is in background and other is on the front, and a toast from the background activity comes on the front. So this want a context. So for giving the context of this only activity, you will write this. This will automatically give context of the main activity. So as you see, when I select this, the main activity is automatically highlighted. So this means this is a context to main activity. So then comma, then we need to, so over here this context, the next is text, and the third is duration. So for text, we are going to write button picked. So this is our text. Now the next is duration. So to give the duration, the way is like toast short. There are some presets durations. So there is one length short and one length long. So these are default durations. You can also customize them. For now, we are taking length short, and then at the last we create show. So by doing show, this whole line will be showed on the screen due to this function. So yeah, it's all done. So let's try the app. Yeah. So this is our app, my first app. The text view is over here, and there is a button called next. Whenever we click on that button, it shows button clicked. So yeah, it means our button click listener is working fine. So go on the next part. Yeah. Now, if we want to shift to a next activity? So let me first explain what is an activity. Yeah. So like, have you seen an app like maybe you can take an example of Amazon. So this is the login screen. Let me take another page, shapes, and then yeah, this is the login screen of Amazon. Then next, this is the dashboard screen. Then next, and this is the item screen. So if we make an basic Amazon app, so what it look like? So we have a login screen over here. Login. We have a dashboard over here. So we have a like search over here, and all the items like over here showing. And we have an item view. So whenever we click on item, so its photo will be over here, and all the details of the item, the purchase, and over here we got two buttons like buy now, uh, buy now, and add to cart. So this is how a basic shopping app looks like. So every of this layout is called an activity, and we need to shift to the other activity whenever we going, like whenever we click on, like when we log in, when we click on the login button, we shift it to this activity. And now whenever we click on any item, then we shift it to this activity. So we need to make all these activity by ourselves, and then give the actions to the button or some item view, something that will shift to the other activity. So the actions are there to shift to the other activities. So activities are like pages. So whenever you want to go to other pages, you need to shift the activity. So first, see how to make a new activity. So for making a new activity, you click on this package, and then right click on that, click on new, and then go to activity. Then click on empty activity. For now, we are taking empty activity. The name of this activity be second activity. Second activity. Yeah, so you can choose if it's a launch activity or not, but we already have a launch activity. That is the first activity. So this is not a launch activity. And then we click on the finish. So yeah, it's building the second activity. Yeah, so there our second activity is also built, and XML also added. It's empty for now. So yes, yeah. So over in the project structure, you can see all the activities. Like over here, you can see main activity, second activity, the layouts also, the main activity layout and the second activity layout. So now let's switch to the next activity whenever we click on this button. So for this, it's So the function that we use to do this is called intend. So intend is a way of switching to the next activity. There are many properties of the intent. You can customize it to a different level, but for the basic one, we are going to use the basic one first. So to use this, first inside the click listeners, we will make a variable. It's called like an intent with a smaller I. So it's a variable. If we keep a capital I, it wouldn't allow us because intent is already a name. So equals to, now with a capital I intent, parameters for this are, first we need to like if it's showing red and there is a white line, so this means that this is not imported. So we have not imported this library in this current activity. So to import that, just you need to press alt plus enter. Okay? So it's imported and the error is gone. So the parameters for this are, first you need to give this context the same as toast. So we are giving this as a context. So this is where we are going, like this is the current activity from which we want to switch. The next is the activity you want to switch. So for now we are going to switch to second activity. So second activity, and then you need to like give it that it's a class of Java, class.java. So yeah, so this is the uh, syntax for giving a intent. Now intent is made and the all the code is saved in this variable. All this function is saved in this variable. Now we only need to call this variable. So to calling it, the syntax is start activity. So we want to start another activity. This means, and then this one, and then pass it intent, the small I one, the variable. Yeah. So this is all. So the intent is passed. So how do we know that we are on the second activity? So let's make some changes on the second activity. Let's bring our text view over here. Change its text to second activity. Okay, and size, text size to maybe 36. Then we will take this middle, constrain it to top for now. Then on the left, and then on the right, and this on the bottom. Yeah. So this is our second activity, and we will change the ID later on. So yeah, so this is our intent is done. So let's try it now. So yeah, this is our app. My first app is our first activity. When we click on next, it's switched to the second activity automatically. So this is what how we call in different activity from our existing activity. So this is the second activity. So this is how intent works, the basic intent. Yeah. So now if you want to come back on your page, the way is you can press back over here, or we can also add a button over here to go back. So to do this, like we go on the second activity and we add an button. Now we remove the constraint from the bottom so that it knows where the button is, and the button constraint go to top. Yeah, and then this goes to the screen, this one to the bottom. We give it a distance of like it should be minimum 16 dp difference between both of them. So that's it. So is here a button. Let's change the ID. So yeah, the way to write the ID, TV, the name of this activity, second activity, SA, then what it's for, it's a title. So click on enter and this will be changed. Button, so it's a BTN, it's a second activity, and what it's for going back. Now change the text of this button, so it's like back. So yeah, now it's showing back. So now write this code for this. So first what we need to do, we need to bind this view. the second activity and its XML file. So for this, it's same. Like we declare a private late init pair with the name binding of type. Type will be the XML name is activity second. So type will be activity second binding. So it's different for every activity. So you need to take care of this. And then we remove this, and then we can copy paste from the previous activity. This one copy, and over here we can paste. So binding equals to, we need to change this activity second binding dot inflate. Yeah. So yeah, this is it. So we have binded the view to this. Now let's call a so let's call, first of all, uh, let's make another button over here. I can show you another thing. So we can constrain this to the top and this to the bottom of this button, then these to the sides, and I can give like it should be 8 and 8 apart from both. That's it. And ID will be btn, and then second activity, and then change. Over here in the text we will give change text. When we go on the coding, first let's make the click listener for the change button. So over here we write the binding, we are using the layout, then we are using change button dot set on click listener, this one inside. Now we want to change the text. So what we want, whenever we click on this button, the text of this activity changes. So how we can do this is, let me, so how we can do this is, it's fairly simple. We write the text view name like binding dot, it's text view as a title dot, the function is text, we want to change this text equals to what we want to change in it. So we want it to be like whenever we click on the button, so change button clicked. Yeah, so we want to change the text to this, and then the second we want to make the intent from the back button. So back dot set on click listener. Over here we are giving its like intent again. So we can copy paste the code from the previous activity. So it's like this one. So copy, and over here we can paste. So intent, this means this activity, where we want to go. This time we want to go on the main activity. So main activity over here, and then start the intent. So yeah, it's done. Let's try the app. Terminate. Yeah. So yeah, here are the app. When we click on next, it goes on the next activity. When we click on the change text, it changes the text automatically, and then when we click on the back, it's go on the back activity. So yeah, that's how we navigate to different activities. So next, let's see how to add an image view. So over here, if we want to add an image view, so here is my image view, my first app. So for default, we will take this. Over here, we remove the constraint from here and add it to the image view. And in this, we add it to the text view on this and on the side. Now we give the image view that it should be at a distance of 16 dp from the text view, and this should also be at a distance of 16 dp. Yeah. Now change the ID of the image view. So it will be image view. So IV, the activity is main activity. Then what it's for showing image. So maybe it's logo. So we are showing our logo over here. So when we click on OK, it's refactor and it's changed. So yeah, so there are two ways to get an image over here. So what I recommend is, we can use, if we are using internet in our app, we can use the image directly from the internet. So first, how to use internet in an app? First, we need to take permission from the Android device. So to take permissions, we go on Android manifest over here. We start a arrow and we write uses permission. The permission, we want the permission of internet, so we choose internet, and that's it. So we are using the internet permission. So in the main activity, so yeah, so now to load the image from the internet, there is an third party library. It's called Picasso. So to use Picasso, we need to add it to our uh, app. So let me show you how to find the dependencies. So over here, if we write Picasso Android, so this is the Picasso library. You can see this, and the whole documentation is given in this. So over here we can find the dependency. It should be over here. Yeah, so it's over here. This is the dependency. So copy this, and then we go in the Gradle file. In the dependencies folder, we add this. So paste and insert latest version over here. So the Android will do it automatically. Just click on this, Alt Enter, and click change to this. So it will automatically add this dependency. Yeah, so it's done. So our dependency is added. So now the second, now we want the image to be loaded. So first we need to, so this is our click listener. We are out of click listener now. Now we want to add an image to that. So first let's find an image, what we want to add in this. So over here we go like Android logo, and we search for this images. We want this one. So we open image in a new tab, and then we copy image address. So we have copied the URL. So the syntax for this is like we write Picasso. It's Picasso now. Yeah. So it's showing us it's not imported. So for import, press L, press enter. So it will import it. Dot it dot load, from where you want to load the image. So we want to load it like I will give it a string. So yeah, this is my URL where I want to load it. So then dot where you want it in, where you want the image into. So into, we will write the name of the image view. So for this we will write binding dot, it's IVMA logo. So we have given the ID. Yeah, we want the image in this image view. So it's done. It's that simple. Just Picasso get load the URL, then dot into from to where we want. Now when we run this app, terminate. Okay, it should. Okay, there's an error I guess in this. So we first need to uninstall it once. Then we can use the internet. I guess there's some error in the emulator right now. So let's run this app now. Yeah, so here's the image. It's showing us. So it's downloaded from the internet automatically with Picasso. So the problem is the button is gone down. So if we want the image to be of a specific size, so how do we do that? So for that we go on the layout. Over here we have given the width and height to wrap content. Wrap content means that whatever the size of the image, take that, the source size. So if we want that to be of a specific size, let's take it to 64 dp. It's a little bit smaller, so 128 dp maybe. Yeah, it's fine. And also height, so 128 dp. So yeah, we have given that. So now let's run the app again. Terminate, and then yeah, so it's a default size 28 by 28, 128 by 128 dp. Our image is shown, and our button is also over here. And when we click, yeah, it's working fine. So this is how we load images. Because okay guys, yeah, okay, let me know in the comments how many of you have already installed Android Studio. Okay. So let's now learn about new layouts. So we go on activity and then empty activity. We want to make another activity. It's maybe layout. We want a layout practice activity. So layout practice. It's not a launch activity. Then finish. Yeah. So if we want to yeah, so this is our XML file. So if we want to use like a linear layout over here, so how can we use it? So first we need to add a linear layout. So when by default it's a constraint layout, so we want a linear layout over here. So just delete this line and write linear layout. Yeah, now it's a linear layout. Over here we can add anything that we want. Like if we want a text view inside a linear layout, so I'm using in linear layout it's preferred to use code, and constraint layout it's preferred to use the design part. So if I'm using a linear layout, I am like to use the coding part. So wrap content, I also want this also wrap content, and then the text will be like first line, and then size. So text size will be 32 sp, and then we close this one. Yeah, our text view is over here. So another thing in the linear layout, we also need to give the orientation. So the orientation. So what's the linear layout? So let me first show you what a linear layout how it's work. So if you're using a linear layout, so like maybe this activity has a linear layout. So whenever you add anything, like if you add a text view, so if you are so if you add a text view and you are using a linear layout with the vertical orientation, so the text view will automatically come on the top. Then if you add a button, then it will automatically come on the bottom. Then if you add anything else, so it's like a vertical stack. And if you are using it maybe horizontal linear layout, then the first item will come over here, the second will come over here, and the third will come over here. So this is how a linear layout works. It stacks the views. It stacks the views. So now let's. This is the first view. Let's give the orientation to vertical. So we want a vertical linear layout. So that next text will come at the bottom of this line. So if we want like another text view, so we will copy this, copy. Then on the bottom we add this, and as a we write second line. So over here you can see the second line text box is automatically added at the bottom. So we do not need to make any constraints. It will automatically add them at the bottom. So if we want like make a button, so like so wrap content, and we want a text like maybe third line button. So there is a button, and then we close this also. So yeah, so it will automatically stack them at a vertical basis. And if we change this to like horizontal, So like you can see it is stacking them in horizontal, like first line, then the second line, and then the third button. So if we like add another text view, then it will also stack it with them. So as the last of this text view is uh, beyond the screen, as there is no space on the screen. So the way, let's change it to vertical. There is a second line. So now there's one more thing in Indian layout. You can give weight, the layout weight. So it's something like on the whole screen, what percentage area will this view contain? So like if we give it 2, so like everyone else has a weight of 1 by default, and this layout has a weight of 2. So it's divided in 2 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1 ratio. So if we want to change also this one, so we can give this weight 2. So this also has now the ratio is 2 is to 2 is to 1 is to 1. So we can also change the weight over here. So 2, so 2 is to 2 is to 1. And if we change over here, weight 2. So now every of the view have a weight of 2 to 2 to 2. So now, like if we want the button to be a little smaller, we can give 1. So it's 2 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2. So that's how weight works in linear layout. You can give how much ratio you want that text to be in. So that's it for the linear layout now. Yeah. So we have covered how to switch to activities, then how to use Picasso, how to use image view, how to use buttons, and how to use text views. So the last part over now is how we can get input. Okay, so let's do this in the second activity. So we open the XML file of the second activity. Yeah, so what we want is to take some input and display that input on that text view. So to take an input, so to show a text, we use text view, and to take input, we will use edit text. So edit text. So there's many type of edit text. Like if you want to plain text, password, numeric, email, phone, postal address. So for now, we will taking a plain text edit text. So over here, we will constrain this to this one. Yeah, to this. Constraint layout is relatively easy than other layouts, but in some cases you need to use other layouts also. So for now, text, let it be nothing. I do not want any text in this. ID will be edit text, activity is second activity, and then what it's for input. So input. So this is our ID. Reflected it. Yeah, and then uh, in the edit text we have another field named as hint. So hint is something when there is nothing in the edit text, it will show some hint that what this edit text is for. So like now it's for title. So it will show so it will show that this text is for typing title. So let's increase its size a bit. So text size maybe 36. Yeah, so we can see this. And yeah, so we have made our edit text. So now use this edit text in the code. So when we go over here, so yeah, we want whenever we click on the change button icon, the text from the edit text is taken and it's shown on the text view. So for this, what we need to do is inside the click listener of the change button, first we will save the text in what is in the edit text. So for this, we will take a variable text from edit text, maybe this is the name, equals to how to take the value. So it's simple. Right, first choose the edit text that we want to take the value from. So et sa input dot, we will write text, we want a text dot, we want to convert this into string, so to string. This is how we convert, and let's typecast this to string. Yeah. So we have a variable named text from edit text. It's a type of string, and the value is taken from binding.etsa input.text.toString. If you do not write toString, problem is, yeah, so it's showing this. So the edit text always return a value which is editable because it's a type that is editable. So convert it to the string. Can you put to string to add this at the end of the line? So yeah, we have the text from the edit text. Now we want to get this text on the text view. So for this, we have already done this. So binding dot tv dot text equals to what we have saved already. So text from edit text. So yeah, it's done. So now we'll try our app. Terminate. We go on next. Yeah. So over here, now if we click on change text, now there's nothing on, like, the edit text is empty. There's nothing over here, or only a hint, and hint cannot be like hint is not referred as a text. So when we click on change text, it's empty because the edit text is also empty. So if we in the title we write edit text works, we have written this, and now when we click on change text, it will automatically get the value which is written in the edit text. So edit text works. So this is how we take input from the user. We can save this input, or we can also show this input. So it's on our app what we want to do from this. So yeah, so that's for today. So I guess so first of all, I need you guys to take a tour of. I will show you. So first of all, you need to take a tour of this Android Study Jam. So in the new to programming track, you need to earn all these badges. So these are all the badges. So if I sign in, so you need to earn all these badges, and like go and explore, and you need to complete all this task. Remember, you need to study first for Android. Android is not like you go on Android Studio and started coding. It's come to you little bit slowly. You cannot like make an app directly on the third day, but you need to study this. So what you need to study is how to use buttons, how to use image view, how to use text view, how to use edit text, what is linear layout, what is constraint layout, what is frame layout. These are all you need to study. The second thing, what I want is you should install Android Studio and an emulator on your system, so that you can code tomorrow, day after tomorrow with me, so that you can also make that app with me. So the text in this, you can see there are four parts of this topic. So first is the video, second is a video, third is a code lab, fourth is a code lab, and fifth is a quiz. So the code lab, there is a lot of important information in this code lab. So you need to, yeah, so you need to read all this information. The second thing is that if you want documentation, to any of this, so you can go on Android developer and you can click on the docs. So here's the documentation, anything you want. So like if you want information on Kotlin, here's all the Kotlin information you can get from the Android developer. And from Android, you can also get how to use Android Studio, like make your projects, write your app, build your run an app. This is everything. The third thing that I want you is to install Postman. So you need to install this app in your computer. So we are going to use this in our app because we want to make some requests, and we need to know what the requests are. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. Shreyansh will take over.
Okay, so that was a great session by Abhishek. In the next session, which will be on Sunday, you will get to learn more about recycler views, adapters, so don't forget to register for the event. Hope you like the event. Thank you.